Mason Marchment is on his way to a career year. Where do some of his numbers currently stack up in this high-scoring Dallas offense? We preview the Colorado Avalanche, and every day it seems like Jake Oettinger is getting closer. That and more coming up next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105.3 The Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. The Mason Marchment experience. He's having a wonderful season currently, and I took a look at some of his numbers yesterday, and they stack up rather well against some of the best players on the Stars. I wanted to share some of those with you. Of course, the Stars back in action tonight, taking on the Colorado Avalanche. This would be a huge win to gain some confidence moving forward, and some more updates on Jake Oettinger. Every day he seems to progress and he gets closer to returning, which of course is some good news. Let's go ahead and touch on some of these Mason Marchment numbers that had my eyes pop a little bit when I noticed them. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell as well here on YouTube. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. So Marchment coming into the season was quite a disappointment a year ago. Of course, he was the big off-season deal, so to speak. He was one of the bigger names that the Stars went out and got, and you were hoping for a big year, got off to that roaring start, and then it just kind of fizzled out. Now he's having a fantastic season. Through 36 games, Marchment now has 13 goals, which is third best on the team, 14 assists for 27 points. His career high was 47 a couple of years ago in Florida. He'll probably smash that. I would hope he would with kind of the pace he's on. And he does so much. He's a real, I kind of put it, high volume, highly energetic player. He always reminded me of Radulov in that way, where he's a bit uncanny. He's wild, which gets him into some trouble, which I'll definitely touch on. But I think he's so effective and exactly the type of player the Stars really need. And this year it's coming to fruition, and we can't underestimate how big of an impact Matt Duchene has had. Obviously, adding him to that line with him and Seguin has allowed Marchment to grow. And of course, he scored the hat trick a few days ago, which was phenomenal. And I feel like I just kind of glossed over that. So I wanted to take a look at some of his numbers, and here's some of the analytics for you and how he stacks up with the rest of this Stars squad. And a lot of it did surprise me. So expected goals, 9.7. That's fifth best on the team. He trails Duchene, Hintz, Pavelski, and Johnston, but he's above Robertson. And you also have to take this as well, these numbers. He's playing less minutes than most of these guys. Of course, he has the 13 goals. Primary assists, has 10 primary assists. That's tied for second on the team with Wyatt Johnston. And of course, he's such a physical, big body. And having Duchene on his line has opened him up to getting into spaces and not worrying about retrieving the puck as much, because Duchene can do a lot of that work. Marchment now can use his frame and size to get to great areas, and then he has the ability, because he's not a true goal scorer, to facilitate from there, and he's done a wonderful, wonderful job at that. Some big numbers too. Penalty minutes drawn. Of course, he's noticeable for getting in the box. He leads the team in penalty minutes at 32, but he's drawn on 32 penalty minutes this season, which is by far the best on the Stars. The next closest is Roope Hintz with 24. And of course, Roope does that with his speed. Marchment, I think, to some degree, it's a combination of his physicalness and he's a little bit wobbly. He's kind of Bambi out there sometimes. So he's being effective even without the puck, or when he has it, he's drawing penalties, which is a great sign. But here's where it really popped out to me. Expected goals per 60 minutes. 1.1. That's fourth on the team behind Pavelski, Duchene, and Hintz. That's above White Johnston. That's above Robertson. That's above Seguin. Goals per 60 minutes. Marchment 1.47. Second on the team, only behind Rope Hintz. That's better than Pavelski, Duchene, Robertson, Seguin. I can go on, but I thought that was real telling of how important he has been even to that line, even though we give a ton of credit to Matt Duchene, who's been having an incredible season. But another one that I thought was phenomenal and really tells the story, 26 takeaways. That leads the team. So he's creating turnovers, and this is at all situations, by the way, not just 5-on-5. And he's gotten some power play time. He's been effective there, kind of in the middle of the rink. And I just think he's having a great season. He's growing into his role, and he's a +10. +10. Of course, that trio has been phenomenal. Duchene's like a +13. Seguin's up there as well. But Mason Marchment is having a really underrated season right now for the Dallas Stars, and I really wanted to show him some love because he does get overshadowed to some degree by the shiny new toy and Matt Duchene, who has 32 points on the year, but Marchment's right behind him. He's top 5 in scoring for the Stars. I don't think a lot of people would have put him into that category, especially coming off of last season. Right now, looking at his player card too, this is via The Athletic, a +9 current net rating, a +7 current offensive rating. And of course, a lot of people were worried about his money from last season. $4.5 million is his salary. And they actually have him marked up as market value, 6.7. So playing above his contract, so to speak, right now. And he's been a really great benefactor of Matt Duchene, and the Stars are benefiting off of the Mason Marchment experience. And I was critical of him a bit in the first month of the season. I was always high on him, even after a bit of a down year. I thought he just plays with that edge that the Stars really need. And I know a lot of people were upset with his production. And then at the beginning of the season, I'm like, man, it's not happening. He's taken some bad penalties. He's not helping the team as much as he would have liked. And then boom, he just kind of flipped the switch. And I think that line did as well. And he's been so good for the Stars. Physical body. He's healthy this year, which is a great sign. And I think you can't underestimate how much of an impact last season had on him with his father, of course, which is kind of a big story, getting acclimated to a new place. He's got a second year under his belt. And I think the Stars are really reaping the rewards of Mason Marchment this season. I thought he was such a great addition because he was just under a point-a-game player at Florida when he played with some really talented guys like Barkov and Tkachuk for about half a season. And he comes over here. Now you're getting a full year of him. And he's on pace to come up maybe just shy of 30 goals. And he's been really good on the power play, which is a good sign, even on that second unit. But more importantly, at even strength, 10 points. That's tied for second best on the Stars. And as I mentioned, some of those numbers in terms of goals per 60 minutes, he's right at the top. Expected goals, he's right up there. So he's having an impact just as much as Tyler Seguin. And of course, the addition of Matt Duchene is having. So big shout out to Mason Marchment. Love his type of play. And it's great to see him having a big year because the Stars could definitely need it. And what a hat trick he had the other day on a couple of deflections. And he joins the battle. He goes into every puck battle believing that he is going to win it. And I think he's going to shine in the playoffs this season, because that's his style of play. He wasn't fully healthy for the entire run last year. Not that everybody is. I'm sure everybody's banged up to some degree, but man, it's going to be fun to watch because he's a really underrated facilitator, and he likes to muck it up. And we know the concerns with the Stars' ability to stand up physically to some teams. He's got that gene in him, and that's a great sign where he's not afraid and will not back down to anybody. So had to show some love to Mason Marchment, especially after that hat trick. I feel like we just kind of glossed over that. It was an 8-1 win against the Blackhawks, but anytime you score a hat trick is a big deal. And he's got 13 goals on the season. Hopefully the beat goes on for number 27. So there are some numbers for you about Mason Marchment and the experience we're having this year. A career year is en route for Mr. Marchment. All righty, moving on to the Colorado Avalanche, the best team currently in the Central Division. The Stars do have 2 games in hand. This feels like a big one. In the middle of your season, it's January, it's go time. If you can win a game against this team, I think the Stars can shoot out of a cannon here in the middle of January. Let's preview the Avalanche in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Sleeper. It's almost the halfway point in the season, Stars fans, and we've had so many highs and lows. Regardless of where we are in the current standings, which is third, by the way, I want to remind you that you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. You heard me right, Stars fans, 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. All you have to do is download the Sleeper app, pick studs like Crosby, MacKinnon, McDavid, maybe not MacKinnon tomorrow. We don't want him to light up the Stars, or tonight, I should say, but record more or less on Sleeper projections like things, goals, assists, saves, plus minus in a given game. If you correctly predict the outcome of 8 of those stats, you can win 100 times your bet on Sleeper, Stars fans. 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail those picks. You can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and with location availability. So the Colorado Avalanche are in town, a lengthy homestand here for the Stars, which is nice. Stars will not return to the road until next Monday. They have a little home and home with the Minnesota Wild. I will be in attendance to that game against Minnesota. The last time I was there, a beatdown of those Stars that used to be up north, so to speak. Anyways, I will be there. So very excited. By the way, be sure to go on YouTube. Go over to Locked On Sports today. Subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel covering the top sports stories with local experts on Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Very sure to subscribe. By the way, thank you to all you everydayers out there. Of course, if you're rocking along with me every day, you hear about all the things that are happening with the Dallas Stars, including updates on Jake Oettinger, how the Stars completely beat down the Blackhawks a few days ago on New Year's Eve, and plenty more. So really, really appreciate it. Never miss an episode. I'm having so much fun. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe as always. Okay, the Colorado Avalanche. Man, it's a good team. But they're very top-heavy right now. They're going to be in the market for a forward, a depth piece. And I found it really interesting because a few weeks ago, Devon Toews, who, of course, is a wonderful defenseman for them, came out. And, of course, if you did not hear it, I'll paraphrase to some degree, that he came out and said after a game that if some guys think they're playing well, they're kidding themselves. And that's, to some degree, a bit scary for a team that's, been in either the 1 or 2 spot in the Central Division for the entirety of the year until Winnipeg has joined the conversation here as of late. But they are a bit top heavy, but man, the top is really, really good. Of course, Nathan MacKinnon, 61 points already. They have 4 guys that have more points than the Stars' leading scorer. Nichushkin, Val has been incredible. Man, so good. 19 goals now on the year, 19 assists. Cale Makar lighting the league on fire. He'll be in the race for the Norris Trophy And then Rantanen is having a great year. Some of their pickups in the offseason aren't really panning out. Jonathan Drouin, 18 points. Ryan Johansson, who, of course, was a part of the buyouts in Nashville. He's not having a phenomenal season in terms of goal production or point production, but he's a menace on the faceoff. He actually leads them at 55%. So they'll certainly be in the market for a depth forward, but the Stars are going to have their hands full either way. They play giddy-up hockey, and, of course, they erased a 3-goal lead like that. What was it, about 2 months ago, maybe a month ago in Dallas when the Stars went up 3-0. So this is a really great measuring stick game, and I hope the Stars just show up and have themselves a day because they haven't really beat quality teams a ton this season. New York was a quality team they beat pretty handedly. They played well against Vegas. Vancouver was the last one that came in here that was a staunch opponent that they beat. But those are two off the top of my head I can think of. Beating a team like Colorado in your division when you really need it with a backup goalie and Scott Wedgewood, I think would be a great sign moving forward. So Alex Georgiev, who leads the league in wins this season, he has 20, but the numbers may be a bit deceiving. He's played in 31 games. He's played the most in the National Hockey League this season because, of course, their backup went down, and so they're really riding him hard. Only an .898 save percentage which ranks about 38 for goaltenders that have at least 15 games played this season, a 2.90 goals against average. So the numbers are nothing that are eye-popping, but he's winning, which sometimes that's all that matters. And he's won 20 games. Colorado can outscore a lot of teams when they need to. 3.63 goals per game. This season. Their power play's phenomenal. 35 power play goals on the season already. They're clicking at 24%. I don't need to tell you that the Stars need to be disciplined because if they have double minors and they give themselves chances against this team, they're going to make you pay. A really solid team either way. And as I mentioned, I think it's scary for a team that feels like they're not playing well and they're still in that conversation. Can be a really tough team. But they rank top 5 in terms of scoring. Goals against, not so much. So the Stars offense can have some chances, but got to stay disciplined. It's a great power play. Their PK is good too at 83%. That's top 10 in the National Hockey League. In all the categories that you kind of want to rank high in, Colorado's right there. Very even-keeled team. They can erase leads in a hurry. The Stars desperately need to score first. That's a huge key against these guys. Get off to a hot start and hold the lead for as long as possible. But Colorado's up there for a team that can score in bunches, and they can do it quick. So it does provide a great challenge. And Dallas they need a quality win against a team, especially on home ice. They've been playing very entertaining hockey. It would be great to feel like you come out of a game like, yeah, we were the better team and we won. Because they've been the better team here in this 4-game stretch, as I mentioned just before the new year, about how important this little 10-game stretch was against some not very good teams sprinkled in with Colorado here. And you're 2-2. And you really should be 4-4. You really should be 4-0. St. Louis isn't a very good team that you coughed up a 2-goal lead to. The Blackhawks, you almost gave one up late. You were able to handle that. And then, of course, against Montreal, a team that you should have beat. You had the lead early. Granted, they got erased in the first 10 minutes, but you were obviously the quicker team, the more efficient side offensively and defensively, and you fell short. Those are 4 points you missed out on. And look, you're going to drop some. I'm not going to be asking for perfect hockey, which of course is the goal, but they're being more consistent, and that's a silver lining in the whole process. You'll beat Colorado here. You got Nashville on the weekend, a Minnesota team that's beat up right now. You have a chance to take at least one out of that too. And then you got Chicago and Nashville again. This is a huge 10-game stretch. And then in this next 6 games, you would love to see them pick up about 8 points. If you can pick up 8 out of the 12, 9 out of the 12, Stars are going to be in good position. But with Winnipeg playing well, they've won 3 straight. Colorado's now winning 3 straight coming into tonight. You can lose some ground. So they continue to strive for that more consistent effort. And we're seeing that. It is against some lesser opponents, this will be a real telltale sign how good they actually are. I feel like middle of the year, about to reach the halfway mark. What are you made out of here? How do you stack up against what I think is going to be a very, very quality opponent come playoff time? They're going to make some changes. They're going to be all in. And I would not be surprised if Colorado is dancing towards the end. Okay, that's a little preview on the Avalanche, who are mauling guys right now. So Stars tonight, puck drop, 7 o'clock, and a big one at the American Airlines Center. We have updates more on Jake Oettinger. Of course, I gave my projected return for Oettinger a few days ago at the beginning of the week. It may be even sooner. I'll tell you a bit more in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. If the NFL regular season is wrapping up, I said if, it is wrapping up, there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, America's #1 team. The Dallas Cowboys have a chance to get the 2 seed with a win this weekend over the Washington football team, the Commanders, as they call them. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make that parlay in the Parlay Hub. They have the best way to find popular parlays and tons more, and you don't have to worry about checking your lineup every week. You want to play, you can take a day off on Saturday for that slate, hit the ground running on Sunday, make some parlays, win some money. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Once again, Locked On Sports today, the first ever 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to Locked On Stars. Hit that notification bell, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. You can follow me on the Twitter thing at JoeyTheJet19. I'm constantly saying things during the game, taking back my takes like it was last game when right off the hop, 11 seconds in, the Ben Dadonov and Johnston line got on the board. Unfortunately, everything kind of went downhill after that. But anyways, some more information about Mr. Jake Oettinger. It looks like his return is nearing. And Pete DeBoar said yesterday that Oettinger has moved past week-to-week designation. He is now day-to-day. He was on the ice yesterday for a heavy optional practice, which is good news. Lots of progress. He's been on the ice regularly, doing a little bit more every day, real positive stuff. That is the quote from Pete DeBoar. And of course, I mentioned January 16th was my kind of feeling with him returning, because it's after this kind of stretch here of busy play. Wedgewood's been holding down the fort, but let's be honest, the Stars could use Oettinger right now just to get someone back in to the tandem, because I don't believe they trust Matt Murray to play a game here at this level. It just doesn't feel like it. And as much as Wedgewood has been playing really well, there was a few against the Montreal Canadiens that I thought he would have stopped if he was real sharp, and he was and some of the shot quality that he kind of has been stopping in this run, they could really use him some rest. But he's playing good. He's keeping them in it. Absolutely he is. And if he plays tonight, which I'm betting he is, he'll make his 9th straight start. So Oettinger is day-to-day, so maybe we see him next week. Obviously, he loves to play in Minnesota, in his hometown. Maybe we see him next Wednesday. I think that could be really, really likely. I don't know if they want to start him in his hometown on his first game back. They could. Maybe they want to start him against Minnesota at home on Monday. I think that is a real possibility. But it looks like projections are going to have him maybe playing before my speculation of a January 16th return, which of course is good news. Good news in all of the land. He's played in 21 games this season. Wedgewood, is up to 16. More than likely, he could get pretty close and tie that number before Oettinger gets back. 901 save percentage, 2.93 goals against average. He's 11-7-2. Just a reminder on Oettinger's numbers through his first 21 starts on the season. So there you go. Oettinger is returning, or at least day to day is getting closer, which is great news. Hopefully he will return soon, and the Stars can return to having a dominant goalie tandem. Man, that's good stuff, because Dallas is playing well. You get Oettinger back. Your number one is back in between the pipes. You can start making some ground. And I think the Central's going to be so close. I felt like here in the stretch, the Stars could separate themselves to some degree, but Winnipeg doesn't want to lose. Colorado isn't. It's going to be a photo finish, that's for sure, in this Central Division. By the way, Power Rankings came out this weekend, voted on by all our Locked On NHL hosts. Stars coming at number 3. Winnipeg jumps in at number 2, and of course, Colorado at number 1. My thoughts on Winnipeg: they can't keep doing this, right? I have such a hard time believing in it, because when I watch the Stars play Winnipeg, maybe they just play their best, but I feel like they just shut them down. That's just my overall feeling on it. And Hellenbuck is phenomenal. He's going to play a ton. But at the same time, they're doing this without Connor, their best scorer, pure scorer. So I don't know. And they're pretty locked down defensively, of course. That's a bonus characteristic. Are we due for another February, March collapse like they had last season? I feel that way. I don't put a lot of stock in them. I really don't. And maybe that's the wrong thing to say. But that's my overall thoughts on Winnipeg. Colorado scares me. That team scares me. Winnipeg, give me them in the first round. Seriously, I'll take that any day of the week. And maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but that's just my initial thoughts. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Time to go. Really appreciate all the support. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. Appreciate all you everydayers out there. Thank you for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Have a live reaction for you after this Colorado game. And of course, we'll break it down tomorrow to end the week. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Happy New Year. As always, 2024 is off to a pretty good start for myself. I hope it's going wonderful for you off the hop as well. That'll do it. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.